Deep beneath the surface of the music scene lies the buzz. That place where the alternative thrives and trends begin. MTV's digging up the buzz for a series profiling new artists making their mark. From the Buzz Bin launches with a closer look at Beck, Rage Against the Machine, and Garbage.
The past is a canceled check. Your maximum point of power is now.
From the Buzz Bin, Monday night at 10:30 right after Road Pulls. If there's a buzz on it, you'll find it in the bin.
Unplugged on MTV is brought to you by the very friendly new Plymouth Neon Espresso Coupe and by Sprint, one source for all the ways you communicate.
Well, Doc, it all started about a year or so ago. I started hearing these voices everywhere I went.
10 cents a minute, $1, and it's good forever.
Good idea.
Sometimes I hear the strange counting.
1 minute, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Now I can't go anywhere without the voices. Doc, in all your years, does it remind you of anything? Doc? Doc?
Actually, Caddis, it reminds me that I want to call Sprint for that dime rate myself.
Boy.
Call for Sprint's dime rate yourself and get 100 minutes free.
With 4 doors, tons of interior space, comfortably contoured seating, and a great stereo, the Plymouth Neon sedan is a huge kick for cruising. While the Plymouth Neon Espresso Coupe's 132 horsepower engine and fully independent suspension make it a real kick in the passing lane. Plymouth Neon Coupe or sedan. It's never middle of the road.
$93.90 for starters. 12.5, nicely equipped.
My brother told me to watch his chicken nuggets for a minute so no one eats them. But when someone gets nuggets, it's hard not to try one.
Now get 5 all-white meat Wendy's chicken nuggets for 99 cents.
Who ate my nuggets? Steve Thomas.
Aerodynamic design, ergonomic sophistication, and road tested by the world's long jump record holder. Introducing the Mike Powell XT by FIBA. Now, who needs wheels?
It's time to pick a face.
Like Mike. Meet the ultimate fighting machine. If you've seen him in action, you're already dead. Mario Van Peebles is Solo, rated PG-13, at theaters Friday, August 23rd.
Now released on video, a distant outpost on the edge of the galaxy. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the exclusive collector's edition. Now, the Emmy Award-winning Star Trek Deep Space Nine is available on exclusive collector's edition videos. The collection begins with a 2-hour series premiere, Emissary, the ultimate beginning to new adventures. Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the collector's edition, yours to own in special collector's packaging. The introductory video is yours for only $4.95 with subscription. So travel to the darkest reaches of human existence, unravel the unknown, and experience Deep Space Nine as you never have before.
To order your introductory video of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, the collector's edition, for only $4.95 plus $3.59 shipping and handling, have your credit card ready and call toll-free 1-800-441-0200. Call now.
I'm Kurt Loder with MTV News Brief. When Hootie and the Blowfish recently discovered that 10 rows of prime seats for 2 concerts at Jones Beach, New York, have been funneled into the hands of ticket scalpers, the band put its collective foot down and canceled all the relevant tickets. The promoters offered face value trade-ins for holders of the worthless tickets, but only 135 out of 518 were returned, leaving the band with a windfall of $10,000 from resold tickets, which on Tuesday the Hooties used to set up a music scholarship at the nearby State University at Stony Brook. That's the news for now. More on this and other stories throughout the day coming up here on MTV.
You got a real name? Jean-Michel Basquiat.
That's Jeffrey Wright, absolutely brilliant in the role of Jean-Michel Basquiat, the young American painter whose brief life spanned the explosion of money and fame that colored the art world in the 1980s. Basquiat began as a graffiti writer, and here he gets a lesson from a friend on how to become a star.
First, you're gonna have to dress right, you know? Then you're gonna have to hang out with famous people, you know? Make friends with the right blonde people. Go to the right parties, yeah.
A key to Basquiat's success was his attracting the attention of Andy Warhol. Here he follows Warhol, played by David Bowie, and art dealer Bruno Bischofberger, Dennis Hopper, into a restaurant.
These are great, Bruno. Maybe I'll take two. I'll take, let me see these. I'll take this one, and I don't know. Bruno, can I borrow some money?
Yeah. Here, you have change?
I made a good deal. You can have those too. Oh, let me look at those, Bruno.
Yeah, but they're mine now, Andy.
Basquiat is very wise about the art world, and it should be. It was directed by painter Julian Schnabel, whose own star shone brightly and briefly in the 1980s as well. And here he takes us into the gallery scene. Basquiat does odd jobs at the powerful Mary Boone Gallery.
Yeah, I'm a painter too. Really? Too bad. I kid.
Whoever you are, could you please move that stuff someplace else?
During the 1980s, Jean-Michel Basquiat was promoted and bought and sold and interviewed and profiled and talked about with a furiousness that would have burned out any artist. That he became addicted to heroin only assured that his life would be short. And he did die at age 27. But this movie is as powerful and as respectful a biography as Basquiat could have possibly hoped for. It's a terrific film, a remarkable first feature by Julian Schnabel, filled with more emotion, I think, than any of his own paintings. And the performance by Jeffrey Wright, so tender, so restrained, so charismatic, is a great piece of work, certainly worthy of Oscar consideration. Basquiat mourns a man and all artists who find themselves distracted from doing their life's work. It's one of the year's best movies. I know I'll see it again very soon.
Well, it's a very good movie, Gene, and one of the surprises in it is David Bowie's work as Andy Warhol, because, of course, we've seen Andy Warhol portrayed in a lot of movies, and here you get an entirely different side to Warhol as a kind of a gentle and supportive and very open person who stands by and watches as Basquiat puts a big area of white on one of his paintings and says, you know, maybe the white does work. So that whole knowledge about the art world, which obviously comes out of Schnabel's own background, is so good. And then the other thing I loved about this movie was it resists the temptation to explain. You know, usually in movies you have some kind of a little kind of abbreviated Freudian reason why everything happens. And in this movie, this guy is so much into himself because of his drug addiction, so focused inward that nobody can quite reach him part of the time. Well, and at the end of the movie, he's just on a level all by himself going out there on a death trip, and it's just wonderful the way that's portrayed.
The trip that he's on is the trip that the art world took. And I think that this film, again, I want to go back to emphasize how smart this film is about that time in a place when people were buying, selling art, and buying and selling artists, and artists were very distracted and were living lives that had nothing to do with their art.
Yeah,
and
but you know, he wouldn't have been quite as distracted if he hadn't been a drug addict. I often think that drugs are blamed for things, you know, like he didn't become an addict because of the art world. He screwed up because he was an addict.
Well, I'm telling you that the pressures that were put on the artists at that time were quite brutal.
A lot of people are under a lot of pressure and don't take drugs, though.
That's true.
He would have been under less pressure if he hadn't been taking drugs.
That is, of course, true.
Okay, when we come back, guys, puzzle over the mystery.
And you're watching 120 Minutes on MTV. It's Boys Out of the Soulside thing.
Well, after Soulside was around, really in the late 80s, like 87 to 88, I mean 89 is when we were really playing. And we did so much touring that after a while, I think we kind of burned out, and we decided to just, you know, break up the band. And within the couple of years that followed, we found we were all living in New York, so we thought, hey, maybe we, you know, broke the last band up a little too soon, so let's play some music again. that's kind of how we ended up here.
Yeah. And now you have 4 albums out. I mean, House of Girls versus Boys is Girls Against Boys. I'm sorry, GVSB. I got that wrong once.
House of GVSB.
Yeah, right. But since then, but you're on your 4th album, and this is the one on Touch and Go. Now you started. What was the scene like then? I mean, did you like being a part of that whole DC scene, things that were going on down there? I mean, there was obviously, you know, the Discord thing, and you were involved in that too, like, because you've done production for Jawbox and Shudder to Think. You have kind of a camaraderie with a lot of the guys in bands that were hanging around down there. You still have a lot of friends from that whole area?
Yeah, the scene, the DC scene was always very tight. I mean, everybody, it was a very supportive scene, and it was a very good place to start because it was very easy to put out records, to have a band. There was a lot of people ready to see you play and people to help you put out records like Discord and other smaller labels. So it was a good place for bands to start. And we still, you know, Jawbox, we're still friends with Jawbox. Shudder to Think there's a lot of bands down there that we still have friends with, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, you know, let's face it, that was the whole thing. People seem to be really tight down there and really support each other.
It's really great. Yeah, it's like really, it's kind of like a community, really. There's so many bands and everybody's, you know, making songs and distributing tapes and, you know, feeding off each other, which is the important thing.
Yeah, that's good as opposed to some of the scenes where people just feel like they're at war with each other, which doesn't make any sense at all. It's just, it's not good. Right now we're going to play a clip. Let's check out from the album House of Girls Against Boys. It's a great track, great riff on this one. It's called Superfire. Here's a video on 120 minutes. Hi, we're 311. Ronnie and Alexis. Now, you're on your 4th album already, and actually you've signed to Geffen, too, so now you've been on Touch and Go for the last couple, and you're moving on now to do that as well. With that decision, people, you know, you always get that kind of thing. Oh, people are signing, but everybody, I mean, you know, has to go a certain way to decide, you know, what they're going to do, and there's obviously nothing wrong with signing on with a major as long as you have creative control. Is that something that was pretty much stated? I mean, they're going to really let you guys do what you want to do and what you always have as a band?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an easy decision for us because we had such a good working relationship with Touch and Go, and we've always worked on independent labels in the past, and working with a big corporation, I think, was a little, we each have individual ideas and opinions about that, but I think it was a little intimidating. But we got to a point where we felt that we could navigate those waters well enough, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, looking forward to it, though. So 4 albums, Steve. There's some songs on the new record, like Disco 666. It's really cool. Right. And I may even see a performance from that in a little while. But we're going to see you perform. Regardless, we don't know what we're going to talk about with the song. But the songs on the new record. You know, I want to ask you this too, Scott. Obviously, a lot of times people have compared you guys to The Fall and the Marky Smith thing. I mean, vocally,
right.
And even in some ways musically. But you guys were really proud of that. You actually said, you know, we do like the band and we're cool. We're not trying to make any bones about it. I've read in some interviews. How do you feel about that? Is that something where they've been an influence of yours for a long time?
Yeah, definitely. I think. I mean, certainly. I don't know what he's talking about. I'm just gonna play with it. I mean, The Fall are one of a number of bands that were playing in England, and at a certain time in my life, they were really, really influential to me. And I think to varying degrees within all of us, but also other bands like Wire or Killing Joke or...
Yeah, Killing Joke.
There's also lots of other ones, but yeah, I'm proud of that, really. I think it's cool.
Howdy. There's more. Up next is Girls Against Boys. It was promised to you. And the only thing that we can say about them is that they're very bad.
Here is Girls Against Boys performing a song off their album House of GVSB. This is Disco 666, and this is The Sign of the Beast.
An Exxon oil tanker, a CSR company, faced tough questioning.
David, or where they go play golf with Clint once. These gentlemen, they like to go out to the country, play a little rock and roll music, you know. So in this case, they're singing about their favorite fruit, peaches. Yeah, well, excuse me, pal, because behind you guys in black, I'm like, you know, sneaking this way. Ninja warriors! Ninjas! Bruce Lee, and if I could tell them, you know, one thing that I find is very effective on someone, you can use the eagle, you can do the praying mantis, but the most effective martial arts maneuver is the butterfly. And butterfly go out, and you lull them to sleep, and then